From the Fans Talk Podcast family at fanstalkpodcast.com, this is episode 18 of Fans Talk Lucha and covers Lucha Underground Season 1, episode 28, which aired on May 20th, 2015. My name is Garvin, and as always, we're here with my wife, but you already knew that.
Hola!
If you enjoy this conversation, take a moment and go to fanstalklucha.com. Click the big green button and support the show by pledging a few dollars our way every month on Patreon. Every little bit will help. Alright, so let's just dive into what happened this week. Another action-packed episode, lots of storyline movement. Black Lotus is back, so I'm sort of interested, but we'll see. Let's get into it. Marty the Moth Martinez debuted against Prince Puma this week. What did you think about his debut and his introduction?
He was hilarious. I love this guy. He starts out sniffing Melissa.
Yeah, real creepy, real all up in her bubble.
Obviously, though, they know each other, so it's not as creepy as if he were a real hobo. But the fact that they did discover him behind a dumpster a few episodes ago added to that awesomeness.
It wasn't a dumpster. He was in the back, like behind the chain link fence, and just kind of walked in on Cueto.
It was a dumpster.
I don't remember the dumpster, but that's fine. It was a similar scenario. I do agree. So, but yeah, overall, I thought it was a very interesting character because the way he started, it was almost as if he's like this huge fanboy of Prince Puma. So he gave him the big hug, and they wanted a photo. Puma smiled. I think that was the first time.
We've never seen him smile before.
First time we saw any real emotion come out of Puma, as far as like a distinguishable emotion.
Yeah, it was a little creepy. I'm not sure that I like the smile.
But then he just hit him with a huge clothesline. The Moth I thought was a lot better than what I was expecting. I thought he was going to play up the fact that he wasn't like a real wrestler. He was just this fanboy, but totally changed my perspective. I thought it was a very good match.
I like that he revealed his main move would be trickery.
Yeah, lots of trickery. I like the arm flapping like a moth. It was very, very cool.
It was good to start the episode out with a laugh.
Yeah. So after the match, we did see Hernandez come out. Hernandez acted as if he was going to, attack Puma. Conan grabbed the mic, called Hernandez out for being a bitch, basically, and then offered him a title shot right then and there. It would have been a perfect opportunity for Hernandez because Puma had just wrestled a hard match against a guy that they weren't really expecting much from. And, was not in the best condition to fight, but Hernandez still rejects it and says no.
Let me read you my notes, which I can barely read myself or remember myself. What was up with Hernandez's facial hair?
Yeah.
He had that triple landing strip going on.
Yeah, it's like almost like a Fu Manchu, except for no mustache. So you got the two sides on one, and then, the strip in the middle. It's weird.
And then my other note, which is not appropriate, says Hernandez, which is my handwriting. Hernandez won't fight Puma, that pussy. That was the end of my notes on this segment.
Well, that was basically what happened. So,
double exclamation point right there.
Yeah. Vampiro interviewed Mundo. This was a video package from earlier in the day, I would imagine. But basically was asking Mundo why. Why did Mundo throw Alberto El Patron through the window? And Mundo gave, the normal stick, the normal, response to that. And Vampiro kept pushing him, trying to get him to really answer it. Ended up being that, he was kind of he was disappointed that he was skipped over. He doesn't look at Patron as this top guy. He doesn't look at Patron as a guy that should be considered a champion before he is, because he's been at the temple since day one. He's there because he wants to be there, unlike Patron, who is there because he has to be there. He has nowhere else to go.
I was a little disappointed in this interview. Mundo said something along the lines of, Patron went through the window, I'm through with Patron. And then he kind of moved on. I don't feel like he had to justify to Vampiro why. Of course he threw him through the window. It was fun. Why else would he do it?
He doesn't. But now we get to this weird line that I don't know what side I'm on, because Mundo is totally justified, I feel, for what he did to Patron. He's totally justified for feeling the way that he does, because he has been there since the beginning. He wants to be there. And yeah, I mean, everything he said made complete sense, and it makes me feel like Mundo is less of a rudo and more of a guy who is trying to get the respect that he feels he deserves.
If we stick with my theory that Cueto is an awesome boss, then Mundo's really up for Employee of the Month, because he knows that his boss likes violence, and so he did what his boss wanted.
Oh, yeah.
He threw a guy through the window.
Oh, yeah. And he said he was making a statement, and he wanted Cueto and everyone else to know where he stood, as far as wanting to be there and wanting to be the face of that company. So,
in the context of this show, that was really not a terrible move.
No. All right, so backstage, Cueto is with the crew and basically gives them the pep talk and saying, this match is basically being handed to them. They've got the title shot against Angelico, Son of Havoc, and Eva Elise for the Trios Championships. And, they not only need to win, but they need to basically sacrifice these three for the gods. Otherwise, if they don't, then they're going to be sacrificed.
I did not like his analogy of ancient warriors ripping out people's hearts. That is such a waste of good organs. It is.
Yeah. Okay. But would you want their hearts?
The crews?
Yeah.
Are they O positive? Because I might in like 20 years.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look into that. I thought it was an interesting segment, but to me, it didn't really mean much. I didn't believe going into this that the crew were going to win. So I don't know.
It didn't add much.
No.
It was more of the same pep talk in the crew.
Yeah. I feel like we just had this a couple weeks back. So yeah, I don't know. Davari and Tejano had another match. It was a rematch. Got started and was really slow paced and kind of boring. I thought I really wasn't into it. They definitely didn't seem to be very into it themselves. I just thought it was a weak match.
In the middle of the match, Davari stops and takes a drink, which is an indication right there that, hey, I'm not all that physically into this match.
No. That's like, as far as the story goes, like I enjoy that part of his character, but to me, like they it just wasn't your standard Lucha Libre match where the hits look real and everyone's flying around. This was just really slow and punches were pulled and it just looked fake.
There was a lot of hugging and spinning around the ring. It was more like they were dancing.
The whole match looked bad, I thought so.
At some point, though, Big Rick showed up.
Yeah, so Big Rick caused the win, basically, for Tejano. He attacked Tejano. He was paid off by Davari, so now they're in cahoots, basically, as, Big Rick fights for money. So that was made a big deal in that segment a week or two ago, and that was brought up again in commentary, so yeah.
That was the most interesting thing that happened. Although I did notice that Big Rick with the shirt on and an eye patch, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a good look for him.
Yeah, definitely. That is a good look for him.
It's
That's
like
a good look for any wrestler, to be honest.
It's like a soap opera villain, and he looks kind of hot that way, not gonna lie.
I won't
disagree?
I won't disagree with that. Backstage, Cueto watches through his window and a mysterious hand pokes him. He turns around, there's no one there, so he sits down, and the hand comes back and like ropes him on his chest, and we find out it's Katrina, and Katrina is basically saying that Mil is back next week, and if Cueto wants a sacrifice, Mil can provide. Cueto is like, all right, well, what do you want? Katrina says that Mil wants Fenix in a death match next week.
This was my favorite segment. Cueto is my favorite guy. I love this. We've got the supernatural element that they're bringing in with Katrina, which I love. It's great. It's fun. But Cueto is not at all bothered by this. There's a moment where she says that Mil's back, and Cueto gets this look on his face. And he's thinking, wait, is he back on payroll? Am I supposed to be taking out his taxes? And then it's quickly over, and he's like, all right, I can do this. And then when Katrina vanishes, he looks for a minute, like, what did I miss? And then he smiles and goes right back to what he's doing. Like, he gives zero fucks. I love him. This does not throw him at all.
No. This was really cool. I like this whole setup. I thought it was really well done. So yeah, next week we have Fenix versus Mil Muertes in a death match.
How is that different from a casket match? Explain this to me.
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll find out.
It's basically a hardcore rules match, if I understand correctly, but death is implied.
Death was implied in the last match, but they're back.
Yeah. So most likely Fenix will take the fall and then come back, rise from the ashes.
They're more like cats than wrestlers and mythical birds, really, when you think about it, with these multiple lives.
Fenix is a mythical bird? What? Sorry.
I'm going to call your dad and tell him that expensive Catholic education was just a waste.
All right. So outside, Black Lotus walks near a railroad track, and she basically is saying that she's ready. She's ready to fulfill her destiny to kill.
She's ready to hitchhike with Boxcar Willie.
Yeah, and to kill Dario Cueto's brother.
This seems to me as though they're implying that she is some distance from the temple. Although it looks like they're kind of in the same sketchy area of Pollo Heights.
Yeah, it's still really dirty, and it's probably just down the street, I imagine.
They're next door neighbors.
Yeah, I have no idea. But who knows? So anyways, so she is walking about, apparently is ready. The trainer, or the kidnapper, or the guy in the green mask, Azteca Dragon Azteca, that guy. He's reading a book.
Her diary.
Yeah, something. He's reading a book, seems to not even be aware that she's gone, or maybe he is, but that's okay because Chavo's here.
He's not really a very good jailer in this scene. Like, he's just reading her diary, not even noticing that she's out hitchhiking somewhere.
Yeah. Chavo is here, ready to save the day if the trainer doesn't want Black Lotus to die. Then Chavo is here to help.
What's Chavo going to do? Hit Cueto's brother in the face with a chair?
A couple chair shots.
And then he's going to pout and then storm out again?
And then lose. Yeah.
I hate you, Chavo.
But yeah, so there is some resistance, obviously. Chavo, terrible. The
Why is he back?
The Guerrero family are liars and cheaters. And but they're also familia. That was what Chavo said, and I guess that was the one thing they had to be to partner up with the Green Mask guy. So they're gonna partner up now, I guess.
Can we sign a petition to get rid of Chavo and bring in Vicky?
I thought Chavo was gone.
I thought he was gone too.
Yeah. All right. So in the main event, we had the Crew versus Eva Elise, Son of Havoc, and Angelico. Obviously, Eva Elise is still hurt. What did you think about this match?
This match was not what I expected. It was a good match, but it was less laddery than I expected. And there were a ton more tables than I thought there would be in what's supposed to be a ladder match. So the whole match, I was thinking, okay, not a lot of ladders. I thought at first maybe that was the concession they were making for Eva Elise, but then at the end, the ladder was up, and Eva Elise is the one who climbs the ladder, which was very nerve-wracking knowing she has a real injury.
For sure, yeah.
And she's able to pull down the belt.
Well, but remember the segment that they weren't just, like, Cueto wasn't just sending them to get the titles. He was sending them to make a sacrifice for his brother or the gods or whomever needed that sacrifice at the time. So Cueto wanted them destroyed. So yeah, the ladders didn't really take a huge part in it because you needed the tables, you needed the weapons to have the Crew beat down Son of Havoc and Eva Elise. Eva Elise got punched on the outside and was knocked out for most of the match.
True. It's just that with the good choreography we've seen thus far, I expected more acrobatics using the ladders.
Dude, well, we got the missile drop kick off of Cueto's office. That was pretty kick-ass.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that was way better than the crossbody from a few weeks ago. So yeah, I mean, I agree. You would expect normally to see more moves off the ladder, but we also got the spot where Son of Havoc was pushed off the ladder, hit the ropes, and flipped off with a moonsault onto Cortez or one of the crew.
Oh, that was
That was
impressive.
pretty slick too.
It was impressive, but it wasn't enough to really redeem the whole match for me.
It wasn't a ladder match as far as historically we're used to. Yeah.
No, and all I'm used to is this was the first Lucha ladder match I've seen. I'm used to the WWE ladder matches, which are a lot of climbing and pulling people down.
So, okay. What was your win of the week?
I'm sorry, I'm struggling to read my own handwriting. It's awful. My win of the week is Cueto. He's fantastic. There was a point during the ladder match when when one of the crew, the guy in the Parma socks, the white tube socks, jumps out of his office and he's just standing there, just grinning, holding the drink. They tear down the plywood again and he's on the phone.
Yeah.
All casual. He doesn't even end the conversation. He just kind of looks over and continues to talk nothing has happened.
Something along the lines of like, this is one of the greatest days of my life. Like as he's on the phone.
He's so low key. For a guy who loves to stir up so much drama, his personality is so low key. I love him.
Yeah.
I love the character and I love the guy who's playing him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cueto is definitely continuing to be my favorite character on Lucha Underground. Marty the Moth, I'm going to give my win just because of how different they made the character than what I was expecting. You know, just based on the first segment, I thought it was going to be a jokey character that really didn't have, the wrestling ability to really hang with these guys, but I think he's great. So yeah. Fail. What was your fail of the week?
My fail of the week is a theater thing. It's the blocking problems that we saw when you put a man as tall as Angelico in a ladder match, a guy with arms the length that he has. There were a lot of points where you could see he was kind of pulling it in. He couldn't reach up for the belts because at about step 2, if he'd used his full arm extension, that match would have been over.
Yeah.
So I think maybe some thought should have been placed into... He seemed to be the one climbing the ladders the most, and he shouldn't have been. He's just too tall and lanky for that. It was awkward.
My fail is going to go to Davari versus Tejano. I'm starting to like Tejano, but Davari, I'm just not sold on.
It was a boring match.
I think, I don't think he has a good place here. I think he was pretty terrible. So, okay. So yeah, again, next week, few things were teased. One, the crew is going to get sacrificed. Potentially, Black Lotus is going to attempt to fulfill her destiny and kill Dario Cueto's brother. Chavo will be there, which will be excellent. And then Mil Muertes versus Fenix in the death match.
I'm excited to see what a death match is.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too, just because of how like over the top and awesome they made the casket match. I can't wait to see what this match is going to be. It's just it has to be awesome.
I hope so,
Yeah,
because
it's
that casket match is going to be hard to live up to.
Our expectations are so high right now. So yeah, it should be pretty awesome. Final thoughts?
My final thought is a question for our YouTube fact checkers, because they're fantastic and I can't be bothered to Google anything ever. So I noticed a lot of the wrestlers have tape on their bodies, like black masking tape or electrical tape, and it's not always put on their bodies like a patch. Sometimes it's in a design. I'm wondering what the purpose of that is. Why? What kind of tape is that? Why is it on there? And why is it sometimes fancy looking?
Yeah, that is something new. That I think maybe it's been around for about 2 years now. At least that's when I started seeing it. I only see it in wrestling. I don't see it anywhere else. But yeah, it is like a weird taping thing. At first I thought it was like almost like a wrap, like a lightweight new age wrap.
But it almost seems to be
a shoulder injury or something like that. But it
seems like fashion sometimes.
Yeah.
Like Cage sometimes has it on his knees, and it almost looks like, ladies, if you wear stockings, sometimes it looks like the tab part that would hook up to the garter. And I'm like, why is he wearing those?
Yeah, Davari had it on his shoulder, and that's usually where you see it. It's like a shoulder thing. So, I assume it's like some kind of injury caused thing. I don't know.
Yeah, let us know what that is, because it's a mystery.
Yeah, and definitely want to thank you, everyone who left comments last week on YouTube. Stoney Guerrero, Shiraya Pender. Sorry if I totally killed your name. Give Lucha a chance. Amory Marathos. You guys are great. Corrected us on the Mundo Alberto El Patron bit. I totally forgot that they had that match. I don't know how I forgot it, but As far as explaining why Patron was facing Hernandez instead of the three-way that I thought was going to happen, yeah, I don't know what happened. I just totally forgot that match. So, but yeah, thanks everyone for your comments. Keep those coming. And yeah, with that, for more about us, you can check out fanstalklucha.com. Also drop a few pesos our way on Patreon if you can. It's the most direct way that you can support this series as well as all of the other series that you can find on fanstalkpodcast.com. So let's keep the conversation going. You can reach us on Twitter, Facebook, G+, YouTube, as well as the comments on the site. All of that information is on fanstalklucha.com. Talk to you next time here on Fans Talk Lucha.